What's going on, everyone? Stephen Michael here with FIlthbomb Breaks, coming to you live from the House of Wax right here in Long Island, New York on March 3rd, 2020. It is 4:59 p.m. Eastern, and I'm here with my co-host, Louis Zolo. What is up, Louis?
Nothing. I hope everybody can hear me. Let's get busy.
Let's make sure everyone can hear him. Before we go any further, we're going to make sure everyone can hear Louis. Can you hear
I'm in
Louis?
The FIlthbomb advice room. I'm in the advice room.
Doesn't seem like...
What? They can't hear me?
Well, I just heard it on your end. Could you hear it?
No, you only heard it on my end because I had my cell phone on.
All right, so let's see. Can anyone hear Louis before we continue? Because we're going to get this right. We're going to get this right.
They should hear me.
And Louis is also going to get smoked with my American League team.
Definitely not.
Oh,
and everybody needs to remember how I smoked you in National League.
That's because you started putting players on my team with last names only that could be confused with other scrubs.
Always excuses. Could anybody hear me? Because I want to let this SmackDown begin.
Guys, if you could hear, are you in the FIlthbomb advice group?
I am.
All right, I'm in the other one.
But nobody's
answering on my end either.
Yeah.
This is definitely the nosebleeds. We're the nosebleeds.
It won't be. I mean, it might be our name, but we'll be great eventually.
All right, let's see.
I see it in our future. We'll have 10 people watching at once. It's going to be a madhouse in here.
I've been sorting Topps Heritage Player Break all day. I got all hands on deck tonight.
Okay, I'm being heard. We're good to go.
All right, good.
Greg Whiter.
May the smoking begin. Okay, right, so for catcher, it's pretty obvious here.
Who's going first? I'm not letting you piggyback off my picks.
No.
Last time.
No, you piggybacked off mine. You piggybacked off mine.
All right, we're gonna go in. You're gonna go one, and then I'll go one. We'll go.
All right, fine. I'll start it off with a 3-time MVP, 13-time World Series champion. His name is Yogi Berra. It's hard.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue that. I have it too. Now, by the way, even if you had to come up with somebody besides him, it would have to be Pudge, right? At 2?
I don't know. Maybe Carlton Fisk.
Pudge is way better than Fisk. I don't know. Yogi Berra is a runaway, I think.
Yeah, it's not close. I mean, Bench and him are close, but 2 different leagues.
Right.
All right.
That's an easy one.
All right. First base is probably easy too, though.
Yeah. Lou Gehrig, yeah?
Yep.
Fox at 2 I had.
Yeah, I
think it was closer than people would think, but Gehrig has to be the man.
Yeah, 2-time MVP, 6-time World Series champion, Triple Crown winner. He's legit. And his career got cut a little short, too.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah, it is. So now, things could get a little dicey over here, huh, Lou?
Yeah, I think from here on out, we might have 1 or 2 the same.
I hate that I have to go first on the second baseman because you're definitely going to piggyback.
Oh.
I got Nap LaJoie.
Yeah, me too. But before you laugh, I got to tell you why.
Because I said it?
No. Reading every stat, this guy owns second base. I just wish it was in an era where I understood what he did. If that makes any sense. He has too many records for me not to really know who he is.
I mean, and anybody that wins a Triple Crown, I respect. He won a Triple Crown, although it was 1901, but he beat out every other person in that league for those categories. So
Roberto Alomar I had at 2, which makes me even wonder even more how great Nap LaJoie was. I mean,
I obviously never saw him play, but those numbers are pretty ridiculous. He's over 3,000 hits. He was definitely using a milk carton as a glove, but who knows?
Right. I mean, it's really hard to judge the guys that only played against 45-year-old white men. You don't know if they were good or not.
Yeah, and it was some scrubs at that time too playing.
You know? I mean, what was probably the fastest fastball?
I think it was 89. No, I think it was 89 miles an hour. Walter Johnson threw some heat.
They probably threw
he was a little later,
the
though.
Bugs Bunny cartoon, when he throws the ball and then runs to home and hits it himself. That kind of speed.
Well, see, when I used to buy and sell vintage memorabilia, I actually had one of those baseballs from the early 1900s,
right?
It's so crazy. Like just holding it, it's like leather. Like that ball went nowhere. If you hit that,
Yeah.
but
I
that
feel like it's hard to judge.
yeah. All right, so we're tied there. So now
Okay.
our teams are identical because you're copying. But now let's go to third base. Who do you have
No,
at
I
third?
think they're identical because they were the obvious ones. But here we go. This is where knowledge of baseball comes into play, and I totally destroy you. All right, third base. Ready? George Brett.
I have George Brett.
Ah, you got to be kidding me. Really?
I have George Brett, man.
I
3,000
had
hits.
I had Brooks Robinson written all over you.
See me?
Yeah.
I'm really big on the hits because by getting hits, everything else comes. Even on base percentage, but back then they didn't really care about OB on base percentage. So back then you hit, you get on base, that leads to runs, that leads to wins, so like, and he was a hustle guy. Like that's why I had Pete Rose on my other team on the NL. So I just like Brett. I like Brett.
Listen, what am I, 45? So if you were born in 75 or after and watched baseball, Brett gets the go-ahead with this because of the one scene, the Pine Tar incident. That was the best scene ever in my era, besides Kirk Gibson's home run trotting around when he could barely walk.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Brett attacking the ump was the best.
Tim,
The best.
this is American League only, bud. That's why we didn't have bench in here. That's why Chipper hasn't been said. But now we're moving on to third base. Now we might have a bit of a different team. I go first.
What do you mean? We did third base.
Oh,
I
no,
got Brett.
shortstop.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going with stats, okay? I don't care
Okay.
if they're on juice, if they're not on juice, because at the end of the day, it's who do you want on your team.
Yeah.
So obviously, I'd want this guy on my team in
Before
his
you
prime
say-
on the
Before
juice.
you say who it is, none of that, like, ever redefining why we're picking them. The juice thing, no. Because even though we didn't have Bonds on my National League team, because he just didn't belong there, he could have been. I'm not dealing with anything dealing with steroids or accusations of cheating. It's based solely on stats. Who would you want for these teams?
All right. So with that being said, one of the greatest right-handed bats of all time, Alex Rodriguez.
So happy you said that.
I hate the guy. I'm not an
So
A-Rod
happy you said
fan.
that.
I don't like A-Rod. But dude won 3 MVPs. The dude has over 3,000 hits. And he's 5 home runs short of 700. How do you give the shortstop nod to anyone else? Based on pure stats, right? So, all right, his stats are a little tarnished, but we were just talking about Nat LaJoie. His stats could be just as tarnished. 3,000 hits with a lemon peel ball. So, at the end of the day, stats are stats, right?
Agreed.
Last year, the juice ball, how do we know how that's going to affect people? So, I mean, do I agree with the steroids? Definitely not. But if I had to pick somebody on my all-time American League team, is there anybody better than A-Rod in his prime at shortstop?
Are you asking me? Is it my turn to jump in here?
Yeah, you could jump in. I don't think there is.
All right. My pick is Derek Jeter. Now, everybody knows that I'm a diehard Mets fan, so this is hard for me to admit and say. But here's my reasoning. At the end, it comes down to those two, or anybody else you would think has great stats, because A-Rod stats are crazy. Jeter wasn't even the best shortstop during his time. And what I mean by that, when he was in his prime, A-Rod was a shortstop, Tejada was a shortstop, and Nomar was a shortstop. And it was everybody was arguing who was better. And Jeter really didn't have a leg to stand on. There was better averages, homers, RBIs across the board than Jeter. But now that it's all said and done with the resume and what he's accomplished, the way he accomplished it, and all his big moments, like going out, his last hit was a game-winning hit against the Orioles. His 3,000th hit was a homer. That play where he shouldn't even have been there to throw Giambi out at home. There was always things that made Jeter better that we understand and recognize now. And with that being said, A-Rod was great, and he was the best shortstop when he was with Texas. But they didn't move him over to third base for a reason. Because Jeter's the better captain. He's a better player overall. Now, as much as I just said, steroids shouldn't count, I'm not going to say steroids should count to diss A-Rod. I'm just going to say Jeter did it clean as far as we know. So now he's the best ever. He's the best ever. He went from not even the best at his time, if that makes any sense, to the best shortstop ever.
But listen, this is an all-time team, right? So
Yes.
he may have the best resume, but if we're going off skill and talent and stats, and I'm putting together a team for one game, Derek Jeter ain't our shortstop.
Sometimes you don't recognize greatness. You're ahead of your time. And he happened to be, in my eyes, even though our time is now. He accomplished way more.
Listen.
And by the way, A-Rod doesn't have these World Series rings of his if he doesn't come over to a team that the captain built.
Well, A-Rod's not clutch. A-Rod choked. A-Rod got a lot of his stats in garbage time. And he only has one World Series, so it's not like he has a ton of rings. But you just can't knock the 3-time MVP. So he was the best player in the league 3 different times. Jeter has 1, right? And then he got jacked by Morneau the second time.
Out of curiosity, did Teixeira or Soriano ever have an MVP
Oh, no.
in Texas? No?
I don't-
No, I'm curious
no, I
because
don't think so.
there's. I'm saying because those 3 guys' stats were so inflated, and then they all were a Yankee, and they weren't as great
Well, A-Rod won an MVP as a Yankee.
because he came up in his prime. He had a better team. It's easy to bat 390 and 87 homers when you're surrounded by a team like the Yankees were. They were loaded.
Oh, yeah, that was without a doubt. All right, but we got to move on to our outfield. So the way I did this is outfield, all right? Because last time it was all dicey, left field, right field, center field.
What you just tried to do is cheat me out of knowledge.
No,
That's what you just tried to do.
I missed Hank Aaron last time. Like, come on.
Because you would try to be too clever. Pete
No!
Rose over Hank Aaron.
Because
your
I-
closer was Kerry Wood.
No, Kerry Wood's way better than Mariano. Let's be
Yeah.
real.
All right, do your outfield then.
All right, so we'll just start. Do you have this guy in your outfield? Babe Ruth?
Who? Okay. It's funny you mentioned him first because I got to tell you this. I broke them down left field, center field, and right field. Right field American League, this is going to sound crazy, right field American League was my hardest group to pick, including our National League picks on the last podcast. And I'm going to tell you why. I came down to 2 guys, 2 different eras, 2 different nationalities. I have Babe Ruth, and I have Ichiro for right field.
That's why it's better to just go off of outfield, man.
But I don't have. But the thing is, I won't replace any of my other guys for either one of those 2. So I
Yeah,
have to
so
choose.
you gotta
And
choose.
I'm gonna go Babe Ruth, just because. I mean,
Just
it's Babe
because I
Ruth,
have
right?
him. Just because I have him. He
No,
doesn't
no.
want to lose, guys.
How do you not
I know.
say his name? I mean, how do you not?
I mean, he has 714 home runs.
Okay, but against who? I can't name 3 pitchers he's hit home runs off of. You know, I mean, who?
Kiki Kyler. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, right. But I'm just saying, I don't know. I just figure the game is way more advanced and faster, and that Ichiro would shine over Babe Ruth
Yeah.
as far as athletic ability goes.
All right. Well,
But I got to go
he's in
Babe
my
Ruth for
outfield.
team purposes. I'm saying Babe Ruth because I have to.
All right. So then, who do you have as your number 2 then?
Joe DiMaggio.
See, he's not in my outfield.
Oh, this is great. Now we can have finally people could vote because you've been copying every pick.
All right. My
Who's your
outfield.
other outfield?
You know who used to play the outfield?
Who?
You know who qualifies as an outfielder?
Who?
Ty Cobb. Wow.
You see, you're trying to be
Wow.
clever again. So that's what you're taking, Ty Cobb.
Oh my God. 897 stolen bases with 4,189 hits? Yes, please. Cha-ching. Ty Cobb's one of the best players ever.
I don't like it.
Love me
like
some
it.
Cobb.
You know what? You know what you just did? You just pulled the Ty Cobb card, like in fantasy, when like a guy is eligible for a base because he played 6 times. You know what
Guys,
I mean?
Everyone knows Ty Cobb is legitimate as an outfielder. He definitely qualifies for an outfielder, and you missed him.
I just want to go.
He's your Hank Aaron. He's your Hank Aaron.
With your Ty Cobb pick, I just want to go on record saying last year, my third baseman in fantasy was DJ LeMahieu.
That's it.
Third base.
But he
Just
could
so you
play.
know. It's ridiculous. You can't pick Ty Cobb. He's not known as an outfielder.
Let's see. Ty Cobb outfield.
All right. While you're looking that up, so right now we both have Babe Ruth, and yours Ty Cobb versus my DiMaggio.
He's a bit... on his Wikipedia, nicknamed the Georgia Peach, he was an American League Baseball outfielder.
All right, whatever.
He's dead. Oh, you're done. That you missed one there. That's your Kerry Wood. That's what's going to
I didn't
bury
miss
you.
it. I still go with Joe DiMaggio.
All right. Okay.
You know why? Because he had more talent than anybody. De Niro
Okay.
said it in Bronx Tale. Whatever De Niro
All right.
says, I believe.
So now who's your number 3?
Ted Williams.
Ted Williams, me too. Because he got cut short. He missed so much time due to service.
Came back and still did awesome.
Well, he still had over 500 home runs. He has an MVP. 2,654 hits. He definitely would have shattered 3,000 hits.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's without a doubt.
All right, so right now, our whole team is the same, except I have DiMaggio versus your Ty Cobb and my Jeter versus your A-Rod.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is the same. Oh, I like my chances. All right, DH.
DH, Edgar Martinez I have.
Oh, I got Frank Thomas.
Yeah,
Put
but
Edgar second.
But Frank Thomas played a lot of first base.
Edgar played first base for a little bit. Then he just went solely. Yeah, same thing with Big Papi. They played first and went strictly to DH.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably the
Frank
same.
Thomas qualifies as DH. He was a
guess.
DH long enough.
I guess.
All right, we're going to let the fans decide.
I guess.
I don't mind the Edgar pick. I love it. I have it Frank Thomas / Edgar. I just have Frank Thomas first.
Okay.
All right, this is where I destroy
All right,
you.
so this is where I went I don't care what era it is. These are my boys. We're rocking. We're ride or die.
Okay.
My number 1, I'm going with, they named a trophy after him. I got Cy Young.
Really? I don't have Cy Young on my list.
Brum, bum, bum.
No, really, I don't.
That's going to sink your battleship. That just sunk your battleship, Lou.
Nah.
511 wins. I don't care if you're playing down at City Stadium with a bunch of 8-year-olds. If you get 511 wins in anything in life, you're a GOAT.
He pitched every other day.
Doesn't matter. That's
Sometimes
even better.
Sometimes
that means
double headers.
he had the rubber arm. He's nasty.
No, that's an inflated stat.
Nope. So
Inflated.
Oh,
He also has the most losses. Does that mean he stinks?
no, go get some tape. You better start patching up that boat right now.
No. All right, my first one, I got Lefty Grove.
Okay, I had him and then I crossed him off.
So you don't have him in the top 5 at all.
No.
Okay, good. I don't have Cy Young, so there we go.
All right.
But people are gonna have to do their research. They can just go with you by name to see Cy Young and think it's Cy Young versus Lefty
there's
Grove.
no Lefty Grove award, all right? If somebody has a great year, they're not like, hey, congrats, man, you're the new Lefty Grove. Great.
Anyway, moving on. Number 2.
All right, number 2, I'm going with Walter Johnson. You know why? Because Walter Johnson has over 400 wins. So now we're at 928 wins combined. Yeah, that's good. I'm in on that with a 2.17 ERA and 3,500 strikeouts in the dead ball era. Come on.
All right, I'm going to throw one more old school name. It's not really that old school as far as your guy goes back, because then mine are recent after that. Satchel Paige is my second.
I love Paige. I left him off just because you can't really judge. Overall, his talent, he was one of the best pitchers ever, I think.
Yes.
But
yes.
You just can't judge it because he came up when he was like 39. He came up Julio Franco's age when he retired, and that's when he was a rookie.
Julio Franco's like 97.
Yeah, Julio Franco played until 97, but that's when Satchel Paige got the call. They were like, I feel like you're on
Satchel
Medicare?
Paige,
Come on up.
But I feel like Satchel Paige had better competition in the Negro leagues.
Oh, yeah.
Than Babe Ruth had in the American leagues.
Everyone had better competition than was in the Negro leagues.
Well, the major leagues, you know what I mean, American leagues. I said
Negro league was stacked.
That's what I'm saying.
Crazy talent pool.
And he had like 56 no hitters.
But if we really want to get technical, you could go down the list and get a bunch of Negro League pitchers that were way better than Walter Johnson, probably. Cy Young.
But if your pick was Jackie Robinson, my pick is Satchel Paige.
Oh, he's
eligible.
No, he's
eligible.
He's in.
All right, so that's 2 pitchers each. Satchel and Lefty versus Cy Young and who?
Walter Johnson.
Walter Johnson.
Bro, you got smoked with that. It's like,
right.
oh, we need an ace. Who's coming? Oh, hi, I'm Lefty Grove.
Here we
like,
go.
No way.
I'll do third.
He sounds
first.
like a Sesame Street character.
I'll do my third starter first, who you chose for the National League and wasted because you got murdered by me. Randy Johnson
Okay,
as a Mariner.
that's fine. I'm going to combat that right now.
What?
Grover Alexander. All right?
If anybody listening to this podcast even knows who that is, hit me up and I'll PayPal you some free money.
Grover Alexander. You want to know why he's nasty?
Yeah, I want to know who he is first.
3-time Triple Crown winner. 3-time Triple Crown winner.
No. You have him confused. He bet on the Triple Crown and won. You're reading the Wikipedia.
373 wins. I know Grover Alexander. I had his baseball cards before when I was collecting vintage.
This sounds like a guy you and Fred concocted on your own time while you were bored. This guy does not exist.
He sounds like Lefty Grove and a president from the 1500s had a baby. It's
I'm not gonna lie. National League, I'm serious. I felt like I smoked you. I'm reading these guys. The American League stinks.
I mean, your team stinks. Your team's pretty bad.
Where did I get these pictures from?
I don't even know where you're going. Like, you picked Lefty Grove as your ace. Like, that's terrible. It's like, oh yeah, we're going to war right now. It's like, all right, do me a favor, pass me that knife.
No, don't say he was my ace. We didn't do it in order ever. Even last one we didn't do in order. We're just naming guys.
We're going to war right now. All right, you got the BB gun and the paintball. Bring it. We're gonna go to war right now. Lefty Grove.
He's not my ace.
All right, who's your next guy?
Who was your third guy when I said Randy Johnson?
Grover Alexander, bro. You smoked him.
He's so under the radar. I forgot 10 seconds later who you said.
That's the biggest 373 win sleeper ever.
Yeah. Never heard of him, ever. What team was he on? Do you even know?
Well, he played for the Cubs, but I think he played for... When I had his Type 1 photos, he was on the Cubs in a lot of them. But he played for, I think, Cleveland. Let me check this real quick. Or the Philadelphia Athletics. Let me see.
Yeah, just name a couple other teams. You're
No.
bound to get it right.
No, hold on. I got you. Grover Alexander was American League. He played for the Philadelphia Phillies, Chicago Cubs, St. Louis Cardinals. Wait, he wasn't even... Damn. I thought he was on the Athletics.
Guy's garbage.
So wait, I have to cancel that. He's not even an American League pitcher.
Yo, you're disqualified.
No,
Again.
No, that's
you
not.
To be so clever.
Oh my God, Grover Alexander. See, I knew he was on the Cubs. I thought he was on the Athletics. It's my fault. I wasn't around during that time. That was like 100 years before me. All right, so I'm gonna switch it up then. I'm gonna go with my next one for my number 3 is Whitey Ford.
I got Whitey Ford.
All right, so we'll cancel off Whitey. So then, to combat your Randy Johnson, I'm going to hit you with a current pitcher. I'm going to hit you with a little Justin Verlander. I think when it's all said and done, he's going to be one of the top American League pitchers ever. He already has 2 Cy Youngs under his belt, an AL MVP, over 3,000 strikeouts, and 225 wins, and he may pitch another 3 years. So
I respect the pick. I like it.
So therefore, JV may finish with close to 4,000 strikeouts. Definitely over, if he stays healthy, over 250 wins. And he may have a 3rd Cy Young under his belt. And another World Series. So who knows? So that's going to be my number 4, technically, because we cancel out Whitey Ford. So who's your number 5 as I go on Google?
Before I do that, I just want to say that's your first clever pick that I actually like. I could deal with that one. I like the Verlander pick. It's just you don't think of it because he's still playing, but I like it.
But
yeah,
I got fancy. I got fancy.
Yeah, well, you finally hit one. Now you're 1 for 9. You're batting 111.
Can I pick Domingo Germán?
Might as well.
Grover Alexander. Well. I swear it's at Athletics. That's so messed up.
All right, so we both have 4, right?
Yeah, so now I have to go searching for an old guy while you're telling me your number 5.
You ready for my number 5? Now, this is also why cheating doesn't matter in this scenario. I got to go Roger Clemens.
He's good, but if you really look at his numbers, though, man, I don't. He's not top 5.
How many Cy Youngs does he have?
I think 3.
No, more than that.
Let's see. Roger.
Right.
Well, when I think of Roger Clemens, I think of Fat Clemens.
And doesn't he have one with the Sox, Jays, and Yankees?
I don't think so. Let's see. He has. 7 Cy Youngs. Okay, he's pretty good.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I knew it was way more than 3, and I'm not going to lie, I thought it was 5.
Oh, so he's
7's crazy.
the A-Rod of pitchers.
There you go.
All right, fine, you could have him. But that's not going to take away from my next pick.
You got to understand, even though you're getting a pick now just for the podcast, when I list our lineup.
No. All right, if you want to put Grover Alexander, that's fine.
No, I'm going to have 4 pitchers for you and then DQ for disqualified at number 5. I'm telling you. If you want credit for being clever for Verlander, you're going to get disqualified for being
You
clever.
were rushing me. You said I had to put a team together. I went to Google. My man was on the wrong team.
We did National League 3.5 weeks ago. Right. How much more rush?
Google, you're not doing me any good right now. All right, we got Cy Young. Already said him. We got, nope, these are a lot of National League pitchers. We're going to go to the 50 greatest starting pitchers of all time.
I hope everybody is taking note that you have to look up stuff on the internet.
Well, I have to because I used my sleeper AL picks for the NL.
Whose fault is that?
Well, I didn't know that you were.
You're not a good manager at the end of the day. That's what you're telling us. You're not a good manager.
9.
So, as much as people like my teams better than yours, if they decide to like your team in the American League better than mine, they at least have to admit I'm a way better manager.
All right, you're done. Philadelphia Athletics. This is the name I meant. Eddie Plank. Eddie Plank.
Oh, I remember him. Wasn't he best friends with Dick Such?
He was best friends with Captain Hook. He has 326 wins, 2.35 ERA, and a 1.12 WHIP. So I'm in. And no left-hander in the history of the game has more complete games, 410, or shutouts, 69, than Eddie Plank. So there you go. Write him down.
Plank.
Eddie
When
Plank.
I hear the word Eddie Plank, I picture a guy that put up my backdrop. That's totally that's totally uneven and not even close to on screen.
Eddie Plank.
When I see that, I think, who put that up? Oh, it sounds Eddie Plank did that.
That's what Eddie Plank definitely put that up.
The worst. No.
But no, Eddie Plank put it up, but Lefty Grove was giving him was helping him with the
Right.
balancing. All right,
Closer.
so obviously
Mariano's number 1 to everybody in the world. So, just for talking purposes, we'll put Mariano on the lineup when people have to vote. But if you had to take a second, who would it be?
I didn't even look. I'm going to say John Wetland.
You're the worst.
John Wetland.
Worst.
John Wetland handed the torch over.
Yeah, no.
Eckersley,
man, he was like the best.
Yeah, I was thinking
Besides Hoffman
Raleigh
and Rivera.
Fingers, but
Raleigh Fingers is up there too. He's up there too, but he didn't have enough.
They played for
saves
so
and
many
stuff,
teams, bro. So I don't know.
But they didn't register saves wasn't a stat till later on. But still.
Or what about the Goose is Loose, bro?
Nah, Goose didn't have even close to what they had.
Well, all right. Well, that's our teams basically. I smoked you.
No, I don't think so.
That Verlander pick's everyone's gonna be wow, that was cute. You know what? Steve gets the W here.
If they like Verlander.
And don't forget Eddie Plank.
If they like Verlander.
All right, so here's my team, and then Lou will read his off, and that'll be the end of the podcast. Yeah. Catcher, Yogi Berra. First base, Lou Gehrig. Second base, Nat Lajoie. Third base, George Brett. Shortstop, A-Rod. Outfield is Ruth Cobb, Ted Williams. DH, Edgar Martinez. Starting pitchers, Cy Young, Walter Johnson, Eddie Plank, Whitey Ford, Justin Verlander. Closer, Mariano Rivera. Lou, who do you have?
You didn't take anybody in modern day. Catcher, Yogi. First base, Gehrig. Second base, Nat Lajoie. Third base, Brett. Shortstop, Jeter. My outfield, Ted Williams, Babe Ruth, Joe DiMaggio. My DH, Frank Thomas. My pitching staff, Lefty Grove, Randy Johnson, Whitey Ford, Satchel Paige, and Roger Clemens. And my closer is Mariano, of course. Oh, I got you again, man.
No, there's no way. Anybody that takes Lefty Grove as their ace.
Yeah, stop saying ace. You see, you're a politician. You're swaying people with
you even admit it. Even when he read it off, guys, you heard it. He was like, and here's my pitching staff. Eddie
but he's not my ace. We picked 5 pitchers.
You see how you said Lefty Grove as 1 and I said Eddie Plank as 5? Because you like balance. Like, you know who your ace is. You know, you felt confident with that Lefty Grove pick.
I'll tell you, I do feel confident with it, but I will tell you this. If my ace is more modern day, I would say Clemens would be my ace.
Yeah, I didn't realize Clemens was that good. I'm going to be
Me
honest. I didn't even look at his numbers because I was like, he's definitely not on my top 5. But
Yeah,
he
Roger
could
Clemens
easily
would
be an
my
ace.
He is an ace. What do you mean could easily? He's
No, I
1A
mean, like,
across
he
the
could
board.
be better than Cy Young if he had 300 more wins.
Cy Young's not even on my list. I'm telling you, Cy Young was trash.
No, Cy Young has 511 wins, man. If you're
Yeah, and like
he's just a winner.
510 losses.
Doesn't-
510 losses.
No, I think it was like 300.
So- Listen, I'm going to give you credit where credit's due. The Verlander pick, I liked it. It was sneaky, but I liked it.
Thank you. Really appreciate that one. All right, so that concludes the podcast. It's good to be back on air. It's good that people can actually hear you this time as well.
Yeah.
So don't forget, we got Triple Threads breaking in just under 3 hours. And now we have a football mixer up. There's about 12 or 13 spots remaining. That kicks off right after Triple Threads. So it's a night full of breaks right after the podcast. So I'm excited. I'll be here sorting the player break for Heritage with Vinny and Fred. What up, boys?
Yo.
They're in the background, hard, grinding. Right after we get off air, I'm going to start my sorting. We got a little, Tony. And that's that. So on behalf of myself, Stephen Michael, Louis Zolo, and FIlthbomb Breaks, I want to thank you for giving us the opportunity, allowing us to broadcast for you live today from the House of Wax. And until the next break, till the next Case Box Packer podcast, we're signing off saying, sayonara, bro, Tanies. Catch you on the flip side. Make it a filthy one.
Hey, this is World Series champion Johnny Damon.
This is World Series champion Cliff Floyd.
This is Kevin Newman of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
This is a World Series champion, Ozzie Guillen.
This is Carlos Pena, 14-year MLB veteran.
This is two-time NL MVP Dale Murphy of the Atlanta Braves.
This is John Clowney, pitcher with the Arizona Diamondbacks.
This is World Series champion Joe Musgrove.
This is Jordan Luplow of the Cleveland Indians.
This is Lance Coach Jim of the Houston Astros.
What's up, it's A. Jones of the Buffalo Bills.
It's Tyler Lockett of the Seattle Seahawks.
It's Hunter Henry of the LA Chargers.
This is Jose Canseco.
And when I'm not on the field catching bombs from Russell Wilson.
When I'm not on the field catching bombs.
When I'm not on the field catching bombs.
When I'm not on the field hitting bombs.
I'm watching my guys over at FIlthbomb.
FIlthbomb. FIlthbomb.
FIlthbomb. FIlthbomb.
FIlthbomb.
FIlthbomb.
FIlthbomb breaks
off those nasty
FIlthbomb. I know a thing or two about hitting some bombs, fellas.
But there's nothing quite like hitting a filth bomb with my guys over at FIlthbomb Breaks.
FIlthbomb! FIlthbomb! Mike Trout 101 auto!
MVP breakers, MVP prices.
Keep those Filth Bombs coming. I'll keep those World Series coming.
Thanks for making baseball cards fun again.
Thanks for making baseball cards fun again, guys. Go Bucks.
Thanks for making collecting cards fun again for the kids and for all of us old-timers as well.
Way to make baseball cards fun again, guys. Keep pulling those nasty filth bombs.
And pull me a Jose Canseco Superfractor.
And hit me a West Coast Superfractor. Go Astros.
Please pull me a DePonte Superfractor.
How about you go pull me a Jordan Luplow Superfractor?
No, they don't. I'm using that to my advantage. All right, go.